And We Belong Together is the second single from the emancipation of Mimi. It's doing incredibly well. I mean, it's doing really well in America, and it's starting to do really well in this country as well, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at your stats, actually, earlier. I mean, I knew that you were very successful. I had no idea that you were A, the best-selling female artist in the States ever, bar none, and overall, if you mix the sexes up, you're third, behind the Beatles and Elvis.
I can't, like, when I hear that, I'm like, you know, okay, sure. You're right.
Not bad from a kid from Long Island.
I know, right?
That video, that was your own wedding dress, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So if you kept your wedding dress, are you a very sentimental person? Would you describe yourself as that?
That wedding dress had a 27-foot train, and it was kind of the best thing about the whole marriage. Sorry, didn't mean to be mean, but, you know, it was actually I loved that dress, but, you know, I was going to burn the train at the end, just as kind of like a symbolic towel, but
Is it true you based it on Princess Diana's wedding dress? That was a sort of inspiration for it?
Oh, well, it's not like I ever thought, oh, this is going to be as good as that. But I mean, it was like...
Actually, hers wasn't that great, you know. It was very crinkled. When she got out of the... Oh, come on. Come on. No, we can say it now. The years have gone by. She got out of the coach.
I thought she looked wonderful, though.
All right, I'm the only guy here.
But it was, you know what, it was based on a princess type of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't one specific thing. Obviously, no one can come close to what her dress was. Mine was really just like a fairy tale. If you're going to get married, do it and have a fabulous, you know, princess moment out of it.
Well, let's get that wedding thing out of the way here then, and then we'll go back. This was your first husband. This is Tommy. Is it Mottola? Is that how you pronounce it? He was the head of CBS Records, and of course, like all marriages, it started great. You met him. How old? 18 were you when you met him?
Yeah.
He was the older man, and he was the head of CBS, as I've said, and then
Sony,
and then Sony. Yeah. And you did this thing that kids do, who've got their demo tape. You went up. That's the guy. You went up and you gave him the tape.
Actually, my friend, I was a backup singer for a girl named Brenda K. Starr who had a hit with a song called I Still Believe, which I later covered. And she brought me to this party to meet another man named Jerry Greenberg from Atlantic Records that she knew and she had worked with. And I almost didn't go to the party. I waited 2 hours in my lobby. I lived in this little building, and it was like this little cramped lobby. And I was like, oh, what is she doing? Finally, she showed up. We went to the party. She went to hand Jerry Greenberg the tape, but Tommy was looking at me for whatever reason, grabbed the tape out of his hand and kept it, listened to it in his limo, came back to find me, but I had left.
And it was a bit like Cinderella. It took a few days to track you down, but he tracked you down. And
he found me, yeah.
And the rest is history. And as we say, you got married. Now, you signed, as lots of people do, you signed a confidentiality agreement on the settlement after the divorce. So there's not a lot you can say, but what you have said is that the straw that broke the camel's back was there was a public incident. He said or did something in public, which you just thought, you know what, that's it.
You know what, first of all, the thing about the whole situation is that I really got married to try to lessen the intensity of the overbearing situation. It was too much like this for anybody of any age, especially somebody really young with an older person. So my rationale, which was ridiculous, was, okay, well, maybe if I get married, he'll realize, no, I'm not trying to go out and be with a million guys and do this and that, whatever, because that's not who I am. I'm not looking for that and whatever. But it was ridiculous. But anyway, that was what I thought, because I really wasn't, and I really did think I was going to stay and that situation was going to last. There were a number of situations that I kind of put behind me, incidents that were not fun, and it wasn't necessarily a public thing that was the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was in front of people, and it was just a one moment that was sort of the culmination of a lot of bleak moments.
One last question about that, and then we'll go back to your childhood. In the video there, you're with an older guy at the altar, and you jilt him, and you go off with a good-looking younger guy. Any messages for any particular people there?
Do the same thing if you're out there. No, I'm only kidding.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about you as a kid. Your father was Hispanic, black, mixed.
He's African American, and his father is half Venezuelan.
Right, and your mother's
Irish.
An Irish opera singer.
Irish American.
Irish American opera singer.
Yes.
And your dad walked out after when you were about 3 or 4.
They divorced when I was 3.
Which cut you off, I know.
Yeah.
But because of this interracial marriage, you lived in Long Island. You had one hell of a tough time as a family, didn't you? You had a lot of racism.
Yeah, my brother and sister had it worse, I think, because they're older, and when they were growing up, my parents were married, so they dealt with a lot more stuff, you know, like their dogs were poisoned, they had, you know, things blown up, so it was, and they...
Was that because you were sort of, you were such a mixture of races? Because, I mean, Irish, Hispanic, and black. I mean, which element of those was causing the antagonism?
Well, I think really, I mean, my father grew up as a black man in America, so it's not like anyone was like dissecting him, are you part Spanish, you know, whatever. They just saw a black man and a white woman and they were like, didn't like it. And also he had a good job and he, you know, was a very good looking man and he's married to a white woman in this white neighborhood and it really wasn't the popular thing. They didn't like it. You know what I mean? So I think that was really tough for people to accept, and it was really hard on my brother and sister. And you know, ultimately the marriage didn't work and they divorced when I was 3. So my situation was different. It was more of an internal thing that I went through. And then just moving around, I moved around like 13 times with my mom, and I would see my father on the weekends, and you know, so.
But you kind of made up with him, really, didn't you, in the end?
Yeah.
Like, he was tragically, he was dying of cancer.
Yeah, well, we had, you know, reconnected before that, and it was like, the press always said estranged from her father. We were never estranged. It's just that I grew up with my mother.
As we said, your mother was an opera singer. She had a really great operatic voice. Presumably, that you've inherited those genes. I mean, there has to be a connection between her singing and the way that you can sing now. And you started to kind of warble a bit when you were about 4, didn't you? You started to... You discovered your voice when before you went to school, I think.
That's when I first remember it. And that's when my mom says that she first remembers me singing along with her. She said I always, you know, when I first heard music, I started like humming along and stuff like that.
Oh, can you remember? Can you remember the very first thing you sang as a kid? Can you remember the very first song?
No, but my mom tells a story that she was practicing and doing, she was doing Rigoletto, and she made a mistake, and I corrected her and sang it to her. I don't know.
Gosh.
She tells this story, so I have, like, you know when you have a memory, but it's probably, like, you remember because your mom told it to you?
And is that when she hit you?
That's when she was like, maybe she's got a musical ear, okay.
Well, Mariah, it's great to talk to you. We can't let this finish without referring to Live 8.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to make it happen for you tonight. Is that all right?
You were on there, and you were fantastic. You had that wonderful children's African choir.
Yes, the
with
African Children's Choir. They made it so great. I was so excited to be on stage with them, and their energy was just like amazing. And it's incredible because they're all survivors. They're actually all orphan children, and they were just like, you know, and it's just amazing to see their still so, you know, happy, and their energy is still so up, and the people who take care of them and look after them are amazing, and it's just, they're an incredible group.
Well, everybody who managed, probably everybody in the world who saw it, but certainly everybody who managed to make Hyde Park in this country is still talking about it. It looked like an electrifying event. You were there. Was it unbelievable?
It was unbelievable. It was really something that I'll never forget. Paul McCartney sang in my ear. I wasn't going to go out on stage at the end because I hate those finales because they're always so awkward, and I'm like, oh, a finale. But then I'm like, this is historic. Let me go out there. And I was with the kids, and I was really trying to just have them sing because I hate when people try to, like, steal the show and sing during the finale. I'm just like, kids, you know, sing, whatever. And then he came up, like, behind me, and Sir McCartney came up behind me and was like, let me hear you sing it to me. And he, like, sang that in my ear, and I was like, I guess I got to sing something. It was such an honor. It was just so amazing, and it's something, you know, that I'll keep forever.
I was saying to you a little earlier that it was obvious to seasoned rock watchers that some of the greats were a little tense when they came. Everybody got into the groove very quickly, but some you could tell they were a bit shaky when they walked on. You looked as if you were just singing in your front porch or something. I mean, were you nervous? Were you hiding it?
You know what? I I was nervous if I were to have sat there and thought about, okay, every single thing that I sing right now is going to be recorded for the rest of my life. I'm never going to, you know, be able to
live it down.
Yeah. So basically, I just had to really, I was feeling the energy of the crowd and just being like in the moment. And I have to say that the kids being there with me was an extra boost for me, you know. And that's why I did the song Hero as well, because I wasn't going to do that song. But the night before I switched it up, because once I heard their voices, I said I need them on 2 songs.
One thing that we've been absolutely unable to substantiate are the reports. I don't know if you get them in the American media, but the reports in the British press that you're very difficult, you know, to interview when you come to do interviews. Well, hey, this has been great. This has been lovely. We couldn't actually pin any of that down, any of these stories about red carpets and candles and all that. Would you care to put your side of that particular story, or do you just not want to bother?
I think it's funny. Oh, that particular, the red carpet thing?
Yeah, you went to a hotel and they didn't have the red carpet and they didn't put the candles out, so you drove around the block.
Of course, that's true. Wouldn't you do the same thing?
I don't think we'd get it, Mariah. That's the difference.
It was just so funny. I mean, it was 3 in the morning. I'd come from Germany. I had done, I don't know, shows, radio, this, that, whatever. I wouldn't have known if it was a green carpet, blue carpet, concrete, I don't know. But somebody had the idea to have a red carpet and candles. I don't know. For all I knew, that's how the hotel always looked. And then the next day, it was like, she insists on a red carpet and candles and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. There was a story in America that I refused to walk on carpeting. So I guess we have to figure out which one it is. I'll let you know if I find out.
Okay. Well, I have to say, you and Jennifer Lopez both, because stories like that go around about her, and we were involved in an interview with her. I have to say, honestly, not a trait of that kind of stuff. So I think it just goes with the territory.
Yeah, you just have to put up with it. That is the most beautiful ring.
Thank you, and that is the most beautiful necklace.
Well, I bought that for her. Who bought that for you?
This was actually a gift from Van Cleef. I was there. Isn't that fabulous of them?
Yeah.
I only wear it every day of my life.
Well, it's lovely to meet you, and I'll just slip that off to have a little
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you. Thank you.
That's Mariah Carey talking to us on Monday. I have to say that backstage, when she arrived, and backstage before she went, she was not a diva at all, was she? She was absolutely fine.
And so were her entourage.
Yeah,
They were
nice people. Well.